Hey guys, how's it going? So I decided to make I guess since I released an interview video, I decided to make another video because something big, kind of big news came up for this company called Kodak, and it was an amazing explosion to the upside. And I just have to talk about it because it's so crazy that it's just something I cannot ignore and I have to talk about. So Kodak got a deal with Donald Trump for $765 million loan. You guys can read all about it, but what happened was this news was actually released yesterday. And most, if you were a trader and you were charting and stuff, you would have been like, yeah, the stock looks like it's overbought. I think the stock will dip because it went from $2.50 and then that deal came out. It went to $10 and then it fell back to around $8 and was just trading sideways all day long. And then today, big explosion to the upside. Boom! All the way up to $50, pulled back, and now it's trading sideways. I think that there's a possibility the stock could hit $100. Not 100% guarantee at the end of the day, and it is very, very risky stock to trade, but my gut feeling tells me this stock will hit $100. Will I be buying any of this stock? No, because it's scary. Because what happens if it drops back down to $10? You will lose all your investment. So there's a possibility it could drop back down to $10. I don't think it will though. I think, it's going to head higher. I think we're going to see the stock head all the way up to $100. Could I be absolutely wrong? I could absolutely be wrong. But we'll see, right? I have no position in this. But my gut feeling tells me there's a possibility this thing can go to $100. Will it happen? Who knows at the end of the day? Is retail responsible for this movement? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. These are institutional investors, hedge funds, billionaires, millionaires. Maybe not so much the millionaires, but yeah. Those are the guys that are moving this stock price up or down. Because why? Because it has an evaluation of $1.47 billion. Donald Trump says something, stocks can skyrocket. Donald Trump moves markets. That is basically, he moves market. He talks positively about a company, the stock will skyrocket. So there's a lot of money in the United States, and one mention of a stock, the stock will move up. And I really think that this stock is heading to $100. It could be wrong. This is pure speculation. I would not make a position, to be aware that this is extremely speculative, risky COVID-19 play. So realize that, but my gut feeling tells me this stock is heading up higher, but None of this is financial advice. Be aware that big money is ultimately the one that dictates where the stock price goes. Retail investors are not going to be buying. Retail investors can't move this stock. So we'll see what happens. If you look at the share structure, it's pretty tight. That's the reason why it can easily move up. It has a $22.78 million float to total outstanding share of 43.73. Remember Tilray? Yeah, Tilray went all the way up $300. $300. So could this thing go to $300? It can go to $300. You can 10x your investment on return on this investment, if you're willing to take the gamble. I mean, you could put a little bit of money in and gamble that big money. You know what? I'll throw in a couple $100. You know what? Before I release this video, I will throw in $1,000 or a couple $1,000. And if this thing drops all the way back down to $10, I'll buy more. So I'll buy more. I'll gamble. And then I'll show you guys that I truly believe that this stock is heading to $100. We'll see what happens though, but that's what I believe. The very good food company. I think this has dramatic. This stock can explode to the upside in a big way, very, very fast. If they get a U.S. listing, they need to get a U.S. listing. There's so much money in the U.S., and I think just because Beyond Meat is worth $7.9 billion, I think this stock can easily be worth $1 billion. Easily be worth $1 billion. Please, management, please don't dilute shareholders any further. Please be self-aware of your delusion. Please. If you were to dilute, please do it at a higher price. Maybe at $10 or $12 or $20. Please don't dilute at $1.50. You know, they have 50 million. They just raised $8 million, and then with the warrants, that's like $50 million. They have a significant amount of money to expand in the US and open up at least an OTC, if not on the NASDAQ, at least the OTC. I'm hoping that, this is my hope. I hope that they actually open up on the NASDAQ and just skip the OTC completely. Just completely skip the OTC and open up the NASDAQ. But will institutional investors in Canada and Europe push the stock to $4.50 Canadian? I have no idea at the end of the day. I have absolutely no idea. But I think that if this thing gets listed on the US and they actually have a US expansion, like they say they plan to expand in the US, so they plan to open up a production facility in the US. If they open up a production facility in the US and then they start trading on the NASDAQ, we could see this thing. We could see Very Good Butchers, Very Good Food Company easily at 10 Canadian dollars or more sometime in the future, because there's a lot of money in the US, and this thing, and if Very Good Butchers ever get listed on the US, I think they can easily get pushed up to $10 Canadian or higher. Look at Beyond Meat. It's worth $7.9 billion. So Very Good Butchers being worth $1 billion, it's not something that is super crazy. It's not. It's simply not. And at the end of the day, money, like I said, big money determines where the stock price will go. A stock's value is worth as much as an investor is willing to buy or sell. And I think if this thing ever gets a US expansion with a US listing, easily $10. But that's just my opinion. So I think right now is an opportunity for people to be scooping up the stock. That's my opinion, because once they announce that US expansion and they announce a US listing, this stock is going to skyrocket. That's just my opinion. So, Solo Electrameccanica Vehicle Corp. This stock is very depressing, but the lower it goes, the more of an opportunity becomes. Like, I don't know if this is a buying opportunity at the end of the day. It looks attractive. I'm still waiting on $2.50. I'm gonna scoop up more shares when it hits $2.50. Will it hit $2.50? I don't know. Maybe. At the end of the day, I have no idea. So we'll see what happens. They have a float of 30.54 million. Outstanding shares of 64 million. And we look at Kodak, it's the same thing almost, but it's the float is a little tighter. It's 22 million, and outstanding shares of 43 million, while Solo is 64 with a float of 30. So yeah, Electrameccanica has way more of outstanding and float, but like I said, could Electrameccanica be worth as much as Kodak? Could it be worth $1 billion in the future? Absolutely. That's the potential of Electrameccanica. I think Electrameccanica could be worth so much money if they have a successful product. You know, remember Shop? Oh yeah, I don't have Shop up, but I'm gonna put up Shop. Shop is the same thing. Is in the same boat as Electrameccanica. I mean, like, so Shop. Let's look at Shop. Shop is worth $127 billion. Think about that. $127 billion. What do they have in common with Electrameccanica? They're both Canadian companies. So, yeah. And they have super tight floats. So, if Electrameccanica succeeds with their business plan and they execute and they manage to sell a lot of solo cars to businesses and consumers, this stock will skyrocket. Could skyrocket to $100, could skyrocket to $1,000. I don't know at the end of the day how much big money is going to push this stock up, but you know, even at $100, you're laughing, and then $100 is only a $10 billion market cap, which is not something, I mean, that is a little unreasonable, but if they're selling cars like no tomorrow, if they're selling these vehicles, and like I said, the Solo is not just going to be the one and only car. They are going to be making more cars in the future. The Solo is the first car. They are going to have more cars in the future. Their success, though, right now is very determined on the Solo succeeding and selling and making them a profit. And then once they announce a new car, you know, the stock can easily be worth way more. It could be worth $5 billion, $10 billion. So that $10 billion is $100. So could this stock be, you know, a huge return on investment? Absolutely. Could it fail as a business too? Absolutely. The risk versus reward is, you know, could be amazing on this stock. And the same thing with very good butchers. Just think about Kodak, right? Kodak exploded because of the deal with Donald Trump. So if Solo got a deal with Tesla, you know, well, where would Solo stock go? Where would Solo stock go if they got a deal with Tesla? A lot higher than where it is right now. A lot higher where it is from now. Because it guarantees their survival. Will they do it? If I was management, I'd totally go down. I'd totally go and, you know, try to contact Elon Musk and have a business conversation with him. Who knows? He might agree. He might agree to make an investment in Solo. He might not too. You know, why would he make an investment in Solo? Because then Solo can act as a piggy bank for him. You know, Solo can be, you know, like if the value of Solo goes up massively, he can sell off some of that Solo stock to fund Tesla. Right? I guess, I mean, that's a possibility. I'm just saying, like, anything is possible. I'm just thinking that once they announce the production facility and deliveries, I think that this stock's going to take off. And I think that, you know, the lower it goes, the more of an opportunity it becomes. I don't know if it'll go into $2. I don't know if it will go to $2.50, but that's where I plan to buy more. So I'm hoping. Shop, you know, like I said, Shop.
Very strong.
Like AMD used to be a $2 stock 5 years ago. If I told you it was going to be a $76 stock today, 5 years later, you would laugh at me. You would have been like, no way, AMD is going bankrupt. They're not going to be a $76. Just like what people are saying. Oh, Solo is going bankrupt. Solo's cars are going to fail. They're never going to sell any cars. AMD is going to never beat Intel. They're never going to sell. They're going to go bankrupt. Well, AMD's beating Intel right now. And there's a possibility in the future they could beat NVIDIA. So, and you know, NVIDIA is worth $257 billion. And AMD is worth $89 billion. NVIDIA set the bar for AMD, because if AMD comes out with a competitive product, or a product that beats NVIDIA's in GPU performance, hello, $100 billion? Easily. $200 billion? Possibly. So yeah, could AMD go way higher than $76.75? Absolutely. Will it? It all depends on big money. If big money wants to push this thing to $100, they will. But will they? I don't know at the end of the day. I really don't know at the end of the day. But AMD has that potential to be worth as much as NVIDIA, because NVIDIA set the bar. Afria, Afria, very depressing today for shareholders or bank holders. But, that's the gamble you take for holding on to a stock after earnings. The earnings were not bad, but the stock tanked anyways. Is this a buying opportunity? It's downtrending right now, so I would have to say no. I would say wait a little bit longer. I would say, wait until the stock price calms down. I think the stock is going back down to $4.38, or maybe even lower. And then at that point, make a position and then average up or down after that. But that's just my opinion. This could totally be a buying opportunity, and the stock could easily go back to $6. Could, but will it? No, I have no idea. It could, investors were probably not super happy with the earnings report, and that's why there's a sell-off. And it was also oversold too, so we'll see what happens. Aurora, like I said, Aurora and Afria are basically the same company, except for Aurora has exposure to the US and Afria right now doesn't. Afria does have a better balance sheet, but Aurora has the better branding. They have more sales, and as soon as they flip a profit, investor sentiment will change on Aurora, and Aurora stock will go up. So, no. If Aurora keeps going down, that could affect Afria stock negatively. But I think when earnings come around, that's when Aurora stock will pop again. Canopy growth. Canopy is just overvalued. I know that when Canopy announced earnings, the stock is probably going to tank. Probably. Not 100% sure it'll tank, but it will. Look at the problems Canopy has in the background. They're losing market share in flower. They're losing market share in pre-roll. Why? Because they don't have a value product, and their products are expensive overall, and their gross margins are horrible. And then they had the whole COVID situation in their facility. Earnings is going to drop this stock, and if this stock drops, Afria is going to drop. So, that's why I wouldn't be so bullish on Afria, and I would be patient and wait it out. But that's my opinion, and none of this is financial advice. Kron will probably follow Afria. Kron is having earnings. Tilray will follow the industry. Kira Leaf will run by itself. I think Kira Leaf's going to hit like, I don't know, $12, $13. Who knows? Who knows how much big money will pump? The crazy thing is, Kira Leaf's not traded on any New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ. They are traded on the OTC, and they're traded on the Canadian Security Exchange, and they are worth $5.18 billion. Aurora and Afria are traded on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, and they're worth nowhere near Kira Leaf. Very good butchers, very good food company. If they get traded on the OTC, I think big money will flood into very good butchers, and I think the value of the stock will go up dramatically. But, this is just my opinion, right? None of this is financial advice, so don't treat any of what I said as financial advice. I'm more bullish on Very than I am on Solo. But, I still like Solo. I still like Solo a lot. So I think it has a lot of potential. I just think Very is just a safer investment. But, Solo can be worth so much more, because if you compare like all the car industry, look, if you compare it to Harley Davidson, Hog, and then in my opinion too, that if they can mass produce these cars and get the cost down to around, $10,000 for an Electramec, I think they would sell like hotcakes. If Electramec can get their vehicles down to $10,000 per vehicle and still make a profit, I think these cars would sell like hotcakes at $10,000. $10,000 is like a no-brainer for people, especially if they can lease it or not finance it. $10,000 would be a no-brainer. $15,000, so will they get it down to $10,000? Only time will tell. They're trying to bring down the cost of it, so it's possible, but it might not happen. If they partnered up with Tesla and they get Elon Musk to help them with the production and get robots in to help them produce these cars, I totally think they can get their vehicles down to $10,000, especially if Elon Musk gives them the battery technology that reduces the cost dramatically and improve the technology dramatically. So it all depends if they can get a deal with Elon. They should really try. They really should try. That's just my opinion. But Elon Musk might be like, yeah, screw them. Who cares about them? Whatever. That's what Elon Musk could be thinking. I don't know what Elon Musk thinks. I think I've already talked too long, and this video's been long enough, so I'll just end it off now. Wow! I made this a 22-minute video. I can't believe that. Subscribe for future updates and have a great day. Bye!